jump on and do their thing. Um, I know a lot of people are at the Keller Williams Family Reunion Convention, which is cool. That's awesome. For those of us who did not go, here we are. Um, this morning, if you've got either some gratitude to to share with the group, or any shout outs to share with the group, or any announcements to share with the group, think about that for a second and then just raise your hand and we will get started with that. We'll give everybody a second. Oh, hello. Is it Denise or Denise, or you got the
Just
double S is like throwing me.
yeah, no, it's just extra. I just
I
wanted
love
to
that. Are you extra too? Or like,
um
what's your
just,
personality like?
just with one S. Um,
Okay, all right. All right, Denise.
I wanted to say how much I loved last week's call, and I took on Elizabeth's challenge to do 100 contacts a week. So I've been having, like, it's just a really cool thing to have awareness around, especially because some days I feel like I've talked to so many people and then I look and I'm like, oh, I had 5 people I talked to. So I've really enjoyed doing that and tracking it. So I just wanted to give a big shout out for that call, and to you for hosting it.
Wow. Okay, so Denise, what area of the world are you in?
We're in Atlanta.
You're in Atlanta. Okay, very, very cool. Are you newer in the business, longer in the business? Like, where are you in your career growth?
10 years personally, and our team is 3 years.
Congratulations, Denise. That's awesome. You go, girl. You are going to just completely blow it up this year. That's awesome. Love it. Very cool. You know what? Your contacts were a little extra. You might be with one S, but your contacts were definitely extra last week.
That's
That's
what we're going for.
There you go. There you go. Extra and all the good things. I love that. All right. Any other announcements, shout outs, or gratitude before we jump in with Miss Mary Lee? Helen, good morning. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, good morning. I wanted to shout out, wow, just through the blank. Terrible. Sorry, guys, no coffee yet. Um, oh, oh, so sad. I'm so sorry. Oh,
That's
gosh.
okay. Maybe it'll come back to you. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it. Oh my goodness. Sarissa, good morning.
Morning. I just want to do a couple shout outs. Number one, I'm so grateful for Jordan Davis for putting together like this zoo commute, like place DFW party. If you guys have probably heard little inklings about it, but if not, she has kind of coordinated that all the place teams in DFW are doing a big client event at the beginning of May at the Dallas Zoo. And so just like so awesome to be able to do this for the first time, get vendors together for the first time. So thanks to Jordan and everyone who's contributing to that. And then also just super proud. Let me see if he's on here. Chris Vyers, I can't tell if he's on here. Chris Vyers has already closed 7 properties this year and has several pending. And he's relatively new in the business, and just really proud of him. Like, I mean, he's doing all kinds of things, even in his life, that a lot of people would have just given up on or not pushed forward on. So go, Chris.
Oh, I love that. Congrats, Chris. That's awesome. What a cool thing. What a cool thing. Awesome. So tomorrow, for everyone who's tracking on this, tomorrow is already March. Like, can you believe it? We are 15% through the year, like already done. That was on Monday. We were 15% through the year. I haven't done math to know how far we are, but let me tell you, we are at least 15% through the year. The first almost 9 weeks of the year have just gone like this. I don't know if anybody else feels it, but definitely it is. It's quick. It's been real quick. Tomorrow is March 1st. March 1st also means Inventory Creation Day for anyone who I was going to say who celebrates that, but yes, anyone who does that productivity cadence. And whether you are calling expires or cancels or withdrawals or whatever, if that's not part of your lead gen bucket, I bet sellers might be. So just switch it up to sellers of any kind, and just front load that month for yourself. Helen, I will go to you. Yes, ma'am. I bet you remembered. Uh-oh, you are muted.
There we go. I wanted to shout out Miss Erica Quintal, who is on our Premium Group team. She has just been rocking and rolling it out. We were script partners last month, and she's got flyers, she's getting listing appointments. She's just really pushing, and we're both mamas to little people. And I've just enjoyed watching her come in to the team and go, go, go. So I just wanted to shout her out.
Oh, that is wonderful. That is wonderful. You know what? Let me tell you, being a parent of one or multiples, it's not even a part-time job, it's a full-time job. So all of you who are parents, yes, wow. Kudos to you guys. Kudos to you guys. Love it. Helen, that was a great shout out. This morning we have in our top agent series, we have an awesome agent. I'm going to spotlight her for you. There you go, Miss Mary Lee. Mary Lee, what time is it where you are?
It is 5:38.
5:38. Now, I know 8:30 is hard for some of us, but just imagine it was 5:38. I hope that is coffee, and I hope you have lots of it today.
Yeah.
I love that. Mary Lee, what area of the world are you in?
I'm in Alaska. We're in Wasilla, Alaska, which is just north of Anchorage. It's about a 35-minute drive into the outskirts of Anchorage.
Okay, got it. Okay, so Alaska is a big state. What areas do you cover just so that we can plug
Oh,
you?
this is where we're a little unique. We cover, I cover about 2 hours south of Anchorage, which is Girdwood, Alaska. If you've visited Alaska, it's a beautiful little ski town. Up north through about 2 hours north of us in Talkeetna, and then even kind of, I guess that would be like northeast going toward the Canada border. About an hour or so, like just to kind of give you that radius. It's a pretty big area.
Absolutely. Gosh, you sound like you're in the car a lot.
Yes, but primarily I'm in Anchorage and what we call the Valley, which is Wasilla and Palmer.
Okay, so Anchorage and the Valley, and then your radius, your market area can extend up to 2 hours, basically each way.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you hit the ocean, and then you're probably not going there. I love that. Okay, so the reason that we have Mary Lee on this morning is because she closed over 13 million in a down market. And so before we jump into your success of selling over 13 million in a down market of last year, like just kind of set up this call. Like, how long have you been doing this? Like, how'd you start? And why, of all things, did you choose real estate?
I've been a realtor for 8 years, and I have to tell you, if you hear water in the background, I'm in my husband's office and there's a fish tank. So just letting you know that, getting that out there. So I've been in real estate for 8 years. I was a teacher. I taught high school English for 12 years, and I experienced severe burnout for multiple reasons the last couple of years. And so I was ready for a change, and real estate was one of those things that was on my list of what do I want to be when I grow up. We all have dreams of like, God, that would be a cool thing to do. And just in the process of my husband and I buying our own residences over the years, I really loved the process. I loved scoping out real estate. I loved like making I'm not an admin brain person, but in that respect, I would make little spreadsheets to remember like different houses. And then we would call the agent to go look. And I just really, the whole thing, we like to go to open houses. And so when I got out of teaching, I started to take my real estate class, and I kind of knew Craig and Becca on a personal level because our kids, my littlest went to the same daycare as her youngest at that time. And one day at gymnastics, she saw me studying for the exam, and she said, that's what we do. And so they brought me on as their first agent other than Craig and Dad. And I was Craig's buyer specialist. So
You know what? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, now I have 2 more questions. Number one, how much does a teacher make in Alaska? Just educate us. I always
Does it teach? So my last year in teaching, which was 8 years ago, I think I was making around 58,000.
Okay.
And that was with 12 years of experience and 2 degrees.
Okay. Wow. All right. Quite the investment there.
Yeah.
And how long did you work with Craig in the buyer's agent position before you became like a lead agent of your own on the team?
Really, I would say 3 years because that's about the time we joined Ben. And becoming Ben's expansion partners in Alaska, really answered the one thing that was kind of always at the back of my mind of wanting to be able to take listings and have that opportunity. And so it was kind of like the magic bullet, right? Where now I can do that. And so we can grow together and we can always stay together.
Love that. Okay, so then on that note, describe the early days of real estate. Like, how did you initially build your business? Like, what did those days look like? What do you think, if you had to look back now, what was the secret sauce?
I kind of laugh because when we bring new people on, I'm like, man, I have the perspective of what it's like without the systems and models. And if I could have had them, I kind of joke that I would at least hope that I would have gotten further faster for sure. But at that time, we were kind of building the plane in the air, right? Like Craig had already started kind of courting Ben, I think, and he had been to a lot of his trainings and classes. And so we had some of the pieces, but it wasn't like super structured. And so it was kind of fly by the seat of our pants a lot of times. But he did have me getting on the phone, and he would send me buyer leads, and a lot of my early business just came through those kind of cold internet leads through our CRM at that time, that were handed over to me. And I didn't know at the time, but apparently that's an unusual segment to get started with. I didn't have a huge sphere,
Okay.
and I didn't know any different. And so I did really well with cold internet leads.
Well, okay, so on that note, what in the world did you say to them? Like what was the process? Like, why did you do well with internet leads, cold internet?
I mean, we did have scripts, right? And pretty early on, Craig thankfully took me to Bold. And so we had some really good words, right? And so I just focused on those. I just used those, and that was really a kind of a support for me. So, it's just the standard LP mama. You call somebody, they're looking to buy a home, they've been on the website, and it's, hey, this is Mary Lee Knight with, at that time, the Channer Realty Group, and I see that you visited my home search website. I'm curious, are you just looking in the Palmer area? Are you open to other areas as well? Or, people usually do that for one of two reasons. They're looking to buy a home, or they're curious about their own home's value. What can I help you with? So it's just that's how they start, right?
So I hear in your tone that you're very friendly on the phone. If that was you calling me, that sounded very friendly. So I bet you definitely did well because you didn't it didn't sound like I was inconveniencing you. It sounded very friendly, like I wanted to give you more information, and you were using just the basic fundamental scripts. It wasn't anything like that we don't know about. Unless there is something we don't know about, tell us.
No, like, and that's what, when you sent me some questions to think on ahead of time, I was like, man, I just keep thinking that keep it simple, stupid. And it really is. It's really the simplicity of the what, 5 or 6 scripts that we just kind of recycle
Got
depending
it.
on the conversation.
You shared that you also started your career with calling like expireds and cancels.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, was that scary for you? Because that's
Yeah.
usually not anybody's like favorite. Um, and then what did you say to them?
Yeah, so I don't know that I did canceled and expired like the first or second year, but certainly like kind of well after the third year, and I was kind of getting into my groove. And now it's a big segment of my business, my closed business. It was for the last 3 years. And this is terrible. And don't tell the Channers I said that, because I don't think that they're on the call right now, but I would prefer calling them to my sphere.
Really?
Yes, because they're not as cold as say like an internet lead that comes in. or a circle prospecting lead that we're just calling out of the blue. Like these guys want to sell their property, right? And they've already been a little, this sounds terrible, but they've already been a little bit like softened up, right? By the by the market and what's going on. And so they're really just to me, it's really simple to show them value and then show them that we can help them successfully move toward that goal.
What does that sound like to you? Like if you were, hopping off here and then, jumping into calling expireds or cancels,
Yeah.
what does that sound like today?
It's just, hey, this is Mary Lee Knight with the Ben Kinney real estate team. And I saw that your house over on Main Street recently came off the market. Did you end up selling that yourself, or is it something you still wanted to sell?
I didn't sell it.
Oh, well, what happened with that? Did you guys have any offers or?
No, we had some showings, but no offers.
Got you. And did you get any feedback from your last agent as to why no one made an offer after looking at your home?
Got it. Okay, so I see where you're going. You are using, like, again, tried and true scripting. This isn't anything like brand new. Are you consistent with this, or what's the deal?
So that's the secret, right? Like I think about like the talent that I'm surrounded with, right? Both here locally, and then I look at some of the names on the screen and I'm like, I think my story and my contribution to our people is that I am so just a normal person. Like if I can do this, truly anybody can be successful here, right? And because it's just consistent. It's consistent behavior. And I have a little sticky note. Of course, Brivity does it for us with the 10 priorities that we cover every day. Like if you don't know who to call, we've got the Brivity top 10, right? For me, where my business is, I kind of have a top 5. And I have a sticky note on my monitor, and it's like, start here and go dum, 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 dum. And some things change daily depending on like segments within Brivity I'm calling, but really it's just the same thing every single day.
What's an example of your top 5?
So I come in and do phone calls that are priority 1 in my Brivity tasks, right? And then I do canceled and expireds. And then I'll go to some segment. So maybe it's unqualified leads that haven't received a call in the last 30, 60, 90 days, or those can get old real fast. So then I might do watch and nurture leads that haven't received a call in X number of days, and so I have, Brivity just kind of makes it so simple because we've got those smart filters and I can just kind of grab. And so I call within Brivity. If I'm having an open house, something that I've just started back doing, open houses, I'll create a circle prospecting list through our dialer and call the neighborhood and invite the neighbors and see if they know anybody looking to buy, and if they've thought about selling. So it kind of depends on what my week looks like, but definitely it's like to-dos, canceled, expireds, and then segments within Brivity.
Okay, beautiful. That's a really nice framework. 2 follow-up questions. Number 1, do people do open houses when it's 1 degrees outside in Alaska?
They do. So Craig had a listing that went live the Friday of Super Bowl weekend, and I didn't realize that it was Super Bowl weekend when I agreed to do Sunday for an open house, but we had 12 groups through and it was freezing cold and it was Super Bowl. So yes, people come to open houses anytime.
How many contacts are you doing a week? Is that something you track? Does that matter to you? Or like,
It does.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know if it does. It does to some.
Yeah, ideally, if we're following Ben's plan, we're contacting or having 20 real estate related conversations every single day. In full transparency, my numbers aren't usually that high, but it feels like I've gotten to a point in my business where if I can target really specifically who I'm calling, the conversation that I'm having are converting really quickly and at a high level. And so I don't necessarily have to have that many to have the same conversion that I did, 3 years into the business or 1 year into the business, if that makes sense.
What's your goal for the year, by the way? Like, what are you
Sure.
wanting to accomplish this year?
Well, I would like to close 53 units of business.
Okay.
And 53 is kind of a random number, but it's because when you do the little form that auto fills for you, that got me up right up over my income goal. So I was like, okay, 53. And so that's my target, which would put me at just over 200 in income. And I did the math because I thought you might ask me about volume. It's about 20,670,000 in volume.
Okay, so essentially, what I want everyone to hear is you're probably going to do as many contacts as needed for 53 units.
Yes. Yeah.
And for somebody else, it might be 160 contacts a week. For you, it might be 40 contacts a week. It depends on where you are at in the business. Like
Yeah.
if any of us were going, if you were picking up right now and you were moving to, I don't know, Ohio, not sure why, but that would look different from 8 years in the business in Alaska. And I just want everyone to hear that that it may look different for you, and it's not good or bad. It's just you do whatever it takes to get your number.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, when we're doing our business planning for the year, we're able to look at my previous year's conversion and calculate, okay, so in this segment, like my sphere, here's how many calls I would need to make and contacts and appointments to get to those contracts, right? And so it's all laid out. I just, yeah, you're right. I do as many as it takes to get to those appointments, essentially to get to the contracts.
How did you navigate last year? Was it a difficult market in Alaska, or was it super smoking hot? How'd you navigate any of those challenges last year to still hit such big numbers?
Yeah, it was a difficult market in Alaska, and it's kind of funny because people tell you like it's bad right now, it's hard, and that's just not exactly what I experienced personally, but definitely the team had lower production than typical. The other agents on our team, and so yes, Alaska felt it. I think we're a little bit buffered from the rest of the U.S., but we still had a slowdown in the market for sure from what we're accustomed to.
Did you do anything? What do you attribute to you not having a slowdown?
So like I was thinking about that, I think I'm very fortunate that I got into real estate before kind of the COVID boom, because I learned what you had to do to generate business when it wasn't kind of coming at us so fast. And so we really just went back to that. We just went back to, okay, so we have to go back to doing more lead generation, calling more people, getting in front of more people in order to do the same or more business than we were having to do in, say, 2020 to 2022.
For everyone who has been in the business, a few years, that has past clients, you have 8 years worth of past clients essentially now. How do you stay in touch with them? Like what are some things that you're doing that you feel good about? Because
Yeah.
I imagine some of your business is now past client and past client referrals.
Yeah, that was the majority of my business last year, was sphere related. So either people in my sphere, or people who had been past clients or past client referrals, sphere referrals. That was a bulk of my business last year. And we do stay in touch. So of course we have auto plans set up for our past clients in sphere. And we're touching them through, market reports and listing alerts, and also, the emails that we send out. We had one that we launched last year. My admin are fantastic, that I don't take credit for that. Where it was like each month we would send them a little thing like, hey, this is a good time to get your heating system maintained. Call me if you need or do you want me to send you a list of great vendors? And it felt really like, personal. And I did have people reach out, and that was funny too, because I would freak out a little bit and be like, Liana, do we have a list? Like, And we did, and it was fine. But it was awesome. And then we also do, I call them, like, it's not enough to just have like technology dripping on people and not make personal calls. So I do
You call them like
call
once
my
a year?
sphere. What's that?
You call them like once a year?
No, we, I would say quarterly. And then we also have, client events. So one of our favorites is right around Thanksgiving. There's a bakery here that makes, made from scratch pies, and they get to choose from like 6 flavors, and they're beautifully presented, and people love to come and just visit with us a little bit. We had done a summer event. I'm hoping we'll bring that back this year. Last year, with it being a down year, we opted not to, and we had moved offices. There was a lot of transition. So we did not do that, but that's a fun event in the summer. And we've done other little things.
Okay, so if I'm you and I'm calling to invite someone to an event, what does that sound like for you?
Oh, yeah. So obviously it's a pretty warm call, right? Like, hey, how are you and your family? You ask a few questions, and then it's like, hey, the reason for my call is it's that time of year. We're coming up on our favorite, pie event. And a lot of times if they're repeat attendees, it's really exciting for them. Oh my gosh, I've been dreaming about that apple crumb, and then we have a script that we use, but it's very like, it's going to be on such and such date and time, and make sure that you RSVP. And we always do like a charitable piece with it. And we have an organization called Matsu Special Santa that we volunteer with, and we have folks bring donation items. It's like the Toys for Tots, like that. And we have people bring items, and a lot of times that really connects people with the event too, because it's not, I'm not just coming to pick something up for myself, but this is awesome. You guys are collecting for these kids for their Christmas.
I
So
love that. If you were making that call and there wasn't an event,
yeah.
and it's like, second quarter coming up, and what do you say with that? Because sometimes that's a roadblock for folks.
It's like the Ford script, right? Like, so how's the family? And now I'm not going to remember what Ford stands for, but
How's work? How's work?
occupation, is that what? And then what is
Recreation.
the relation? What is it?
Recreation.
Recreation, yes. What are you doing for fun? I forget that people do something other than their work for fun, because I love my job. And then your dreams, which I usually try to align that with real estate dreams, right? Because that's my lane. But yeah, so, and we practice that as a team too, so that it just becomes very like just a natural way to talk, so that you're, because for some people it is kind of a little weird, like they're not used to calling even people that they know well. But if you have kind of those talking points that keep the conversation going, and it makes people feel, you ask them about themselves, right? People like to talk about themselves, and it makes them feel special, and they remember how that felt when they talked with you, and it's a good connection.
I love that. I know you and your husband have been focused on buying real estate. What's been going on? What are you guys doing? Because apparently you're making good money, and even in a down market. Or what's happening with your real estate empire?
Oh goodness, empire is a big word.
You're gonna speak it into existence.
We have bought a few properties that he's been kind of like the general or the project management manager on those. He doesn't pick up a hammer and nail necessarily, but he's really good at facilitating those projects and remodeling, and then we'll sell them. And we've also purchased some rental properties that we've kept. And we're in the process of building a fourplex right now. I'm pretty excited about that one.
So you're connecting your real estate to the bigger picture.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
not one or the other. It's not I just sell real estate, or I just flip homes, or I just build homes. You're really using real estate as the vehicle for financially being able to do the big picture things. It sounds like.
Yeah. So real estate is definitely like the retirement plan, right? Like to acquire properties and kind of just do what naturally we enjoy doing, and have that be a source of income for retirement and down the road, and security. Yeah, it's definitely cool to be able to kind of blend those worlds, I guess.
You and I are not like 20 anymore, unfortunately.
You don't know.
Well, I'm about to tell you, I'm definitely not 20. For all you folks who are in your 20s, you are in such a great time of your life. For the
Yeah.
rest of us who are not in our 20s, how long do you have left before you feel like, okay, that's kind of like our retirement time? Like,
I haven't felt like I mean, I just imagine that I'll always work, until I can't, you know? Like I enjoy it. But I do think it'll change what it looks like. And we've been looking at, my husband's older than me. He actually turned 50 last year.
I was going to say he's like 25 probably, right?
Yeah, like 29 and a half. Um, and so he's like trying to plan the exit strategy from he by profession, he's an IT guy. And so what I would love to do is for my income to replace his so that he can just focus on our real estate projects. And then long term, we want a snowbird because we live in Alaska and it's cold and dumb sometimes. And so we're looking at where will that be, and investing out of Alaska and other places. And so what I envision is that I can take my business to other places and still have my business here. So, we're looking at bringing on a showing agent / production partner for myself. We've had a couple of test runs with that didn't pan out, but it's building me as a leader. So that's the next step is kind of getting some of that leverage in, and then down the road eventually being able to go elsewhere part of the year.
I love that. I love that. As we wrap up, which you have been just lovely. What a beautiful arc you've had to your career. What's a piece of advice, or if you were to change anything, like what would you want to wrap us up with?
Oh my gosh. I mean, thinking about like if I could change anything, I would have just done the things faster. Like I would have just implemented more quickly and not hesitated or been, held up by my own kind of limiting beliefs, right? Like, and that's kind of, I get fired up about that when we bring people on the team. I'm like, just do it. Like, take it from a person who it took way too long to get here. If you just do these things, you can do it so much faster than I did.
Mary Lee, we love you.
Oh,
We're going to have a summer education series coming up, and Mary Lee is going to fly down to Austin, and we're just it's out of my income, I always put 5% for just growth, like outside of like Ben Kinney team and all of that. So that's what's being used. So just for everybody, like don't just like go out and spend money, but like we're gonna have like some money coming in, or we're gonna be disciplined with our money. I am gonna be disciplined with our money, and so we'll have plane ticket flights, and we're just gonna hang out for some summer series education in person, and for once we have some more details, we'll come out with that. But you are lovely.
oh,
Thank you for being around for so long, and thank you for showing us, what it looks like, to start out, what it looks like, in a down market, and what it looks like, got a goal of 53 properties you're going to sell this year, and you're still a mom, and you're still a wife, and you're still doing life, and you're using your income for the greater good for your life, and it's just lovely. I think this was really
thank
fun.
you.
Thank you for doing this with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It was super fun, and I'm super humbled that you picked me to come and talk. I appreciate it.
I love it. Everyone, we will see you next week. Have an awesome inventory creation day tomorrow. Get those seller conversations going. Set up your wonderful month of seller focus, especially with all the talk of the buyer agency stuff. Like, just get ahead of it and take you some listings. And then we will see you next week. You know what's funny? Next week we're talking to another teacher. Christina is from the Carolinas, and she's a teacher. So wild. Two teachers back to back. Very cool. Love you guys. Have an awesome time. We will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.